Hello, hello.
Good. It all works.
It all works.
So just to be clear, I'm Gareth from Nebula. Thank you so much for having me here today. I was very nervous this wasn't going to work and I'd misstepped here. And now I'm made even more nervous because that was a great presentation to follow. So I know there's one of I've got like 10 minutes or so. Is that?
Yeah, 12 minutes and a couple more minutes for questions. So a little bit extra time today.
Gotcha.
There's three of you. I'm going to throw the Nebula URL there in the chat for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Michael. Well, Gareth, tell us first of all what Nebula is, and then you can share your screen if you want.
So what we are is an AI toolkit for the searching and finding and matching and then engaging with passive talent. So it's extremely similar to Intello in terms of its objectives, where Intello have got 10 years. We've got a lot of research into AI. The chap who built our systems, a guy called John Crone, Dr. John Crone, will search through his resume on this demo. So my greatest weakness is that I'm completely new, and I'm here today to tell people how new we are. Okay. And we're looking for beta clients. But that's also my greatest strength, because anyone who wants to work with us will have the chance to really direct things. We've got a really nimble team here. We're extremely well backed. And so we're looking to do something new, bring some new ideas to the space and gain some market share. So we're at the other end of the spectrum. We're babies compared to Intello. I did notice, by the way,
fresh meat, so I like it.
Yeah, you had 1 billion in the comments there, I saw. And, that just made me even more nervous. So I should start by saying I've only got 130 million candidates. I was so proud of that. But obviously, we're focused in the US.
Some free advice, working in the space it's a ton of fun. Helping connect employers and candidates is something I'm really passionate about. And it sounds like you are too. And it's all about persistence and consistency. Right, and a good product too, right? You need to have a good product, of course, but just be persistent about it and be consistent with it over time, and it will grow. Right?
I'm hoping it's going to be so good it'll just do the job for me. So I'll be out. Wait a minute, I'll be out of a job. My product's so good it put me out of a job. How does that sound? Is that a tagline or what?
Yes.
So I can share my screen. What's the
mouse over your picture? You see a share screen icon.
The top right, is that the one?
It's the one in the middle, I believe. It's like just a box almost. Looks like a
spot to the line, an arrow.
Yeah, with the arrow on it. Yeah, in the middle.
No, that's that's sharing the event.
It looks like just mouse over your picture itself, and you'll see some icons pop up.
I'm just in. Yeah, so I can just do share screen like this.
There you go. Yep.
Share that.
All right.
Okay, here we go. So. Okay, we are coming to the market with this product in August. We have so far signed up about half a dozen beta clients. We've got 6 more that we want to bring on board. So please get in touch with me if anything I say interests you on this call. But we're inside a demo version of Nebula here. And the process within Nebula is that we enable you to search 130 million candidates. We're US based, we're North America centric.
Okay, so you're just US only, okay.
US only at the moment. We have invested a huge amount in our matching engine. The matching engine has a very interesting history. I ran a company called Untapped. It was a marketplace for developers in New York City, and we built a matching engine to match job descriptions with resumes, and we did it using deep learning, neural networks, natural language processing techniques. And we've continued to invest in that product. We got acquired by a firm which invests in recruitment companies called Wind & Stark. They own a recruitment company themselves. That exposed us to even more data. Mm-hmm. And so this has been a product, in some sense, sort of 8 years in the making, but really this particular product, bringing it to where it is today, about the last year and a half, where we've really focused in on this idea of social sourcing, applying the AI widely. So once you've got your matches, Then you need to be able to engage them. So you'll be able to, at the click of a button, collect the email addresses, cell phone numbers, potentially even some social mechanisms to get in touch and engage the candidates. And then finally, you want to understand what your search space looks like. So how do my matches, how do they cut along diversity metrics? How could I describe my search differently? What happens with the AI? We will do something where we, in the background, perturb the results to make sure that you're really centered in on potentially the right talent. And we hope to bring an engine that's going to be quite suggestive to you, because, and really remove that tedious writing of Boolean messages, which I know we all get a bit, being a sales guy, I write lots of Boolean messages too. We get a bit proud about Boolean messages, but the idea is we can do this more quickly. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So if I bring this onto my screen, I'm hiring everybody for more salespeople. So if I copy my results and I put them into the matching engine, actually, I'm just going to grab that again because it didn't copy. Just do that 1 second. And I'll clear this search and I run this. This is for a salesperson or an account executive. I run the search. In the demo, that's gone over, in that amount of time, that went over over 30 million profiles. In the demo, I don't have the complete data set, but you saw it was extremely fast. So that we want this to be extremely cooperative with people, and they can start to really explore the results very quickly. And so just using the natural language, you end up in and around the right area, and you can look at the full profiles and see them. The idea that we have, the approach that we're taking, is to give you a broad creative look at the search and then use keywords to narrow down and see what resumes within your search space end up having some of these keywords.
Okay, so you start with the job description itself, and then you filter down from there with keywords.
Exactly, and it can be a posting, a job description. It can be a resume, a bit like the Intello's similar candidates feature. And it can be what we call an archetype, something that you've written up, something that you've constructed, maybe.
Profile, yeah.
Yeah, various profiles in your experience. And so once you've done that, you'll want to be able to shortlist the candidates and begin reaching out to them. So if I go to this screen here, I have a set of shortlists. And then for any candidate that is in a shortlist, it's going to tell me the status of, have I messaged them? Have they opened it? Any clicks? Have they replied? And so as I take you through that funnel, that journey, we have the searching across a pretty big set, 10th of Intello, but matching, trying to fine tune and get scores on your candidates and understand where you are in the space, communicating. So with the click of a button, you're going to get the ability to email them, not in this first version, but in later versions, you'll be able to text message them and potentially inject something into their Slack as well. We're looking at all the social channels like WhatsApp, Telegram, Signal, Slack. All of these modern ways that people are now communicating will be in our communications package.
Okay.
And the final piece of the puzzle is to understand, what does the market look like? What does your search look like? And we're producing deeper and deeper analysis about how the results came to be to explain them. We have diversity metrics coming. I'll just give you one example for the sake of argument. This is very complicated to look at. We're trying to think of ways to explain the AI, explain how your search could be improved.
Sure.
So within the text that is being matched in this multi-dimensional space, you're really focusing in on a certain area of people who have done similar things, had similar career paths. And one of the features of the matching I should like to mention now is we're trying to project into the future. So you're not just looking at people doing what they're currently doing, but looking at people who have the potential to do the next thing in their career. They're ready to make that step. And we think that's a very interesting, we've had terrific feedback about that idea in the model. So
kind
this
of like up-and-coming talent.
Yeah, up-and-coming talent. The idea that you don't want to be looking just historically, but you really want to be seeking potential. And that goes to a bigger story about something called the Nebula network, but I won't get into that because I know there's another guest coming on. So this is an example of some interesting ideas to understand the words that are appearing most frequently in your top 100 matches, the next 100 matches, the next 100 matches, or that, and to understand eventually the model will be able to spit out to you some suggestions on how to alter the search and tighten the space so that you can be really much more targeted, so that when you want to kick off an email campaign, you can immediately email all of the people with personalized information. So, I mean, I'll stop there for questions. There's a lot to say about this. It's a slightly different approach, but we are, in a sense, a competitor with Intello. So, and in second place on this demo.
That's okay. What kind of features are you looking to add to it at this point? Since you're fairly new, I'm curious what's on your roadmap.
Yeah, so actually something I forgot to mention, on the roadmap in August, we're going to be producing compensation data. We've partnered with a company that collects W-2 information, and against your search, you'll get a histogram or a bell curve suggesting what it thinks the compensation package is, and you'll be able to explore that space quite richly. So as you widen your search or reduce your search, you'll get average compensation figures, just to kind of guide you as the talent acquisition person or the recruiter as to what the market is doing out there. And that's a partnership we've formed with a company called EMSI, which is EMSI. Yeah, so we're ingesting a lot of that data. So on our roadmap, we've got the future matching, where you're going in your career. We've got the compensation data, and we've got that deep social engagement, a package which is going to allow you to email, text, use the social texting platforms like WhatsApp, Signal, Telegram, and Slack. So we think that the way that we engage with people, what you say to people, will matter. And from the profiles, we look to be picking out some interesting pieces of information to enrich that engagement.
Excellent. Well, it's nebula.io for the viewers out there and listeners. Gareth, appreciate the time today. If you want to throw your contact info in the chat there, feel free to do that.
I will do. Thank you very much
as well. And look forward to hearing more about Nebula. So keep us updated and stay in touch.
Yeah, I will. Thank you.
All righty. We'll close.